What's up everybody? CyberDucky here. I'm gonna make some more videos. I really want to do malware analysis and do like some CV research, which I've already kind of done, but I really want to get into the deeper levels of malware, reverse engineering, trying to see what that low level code looks like. But I realized I don't know much of that or how that works. So I decided to learn C and then assembly, and then we can go into memory, and then we can look into like debuggers, just go deep into the low level code. So essentially that's what I want to do. I want to go through, learn how C works, but do it with an end goal, a deliverable, a project. Let's make projects that are offensive security related. So we'll learn about security, we'll learn C, and we can then start building a resume as well. But let's just get into it. I know most classes out there will start teaching you about the Hello World program, right? Pretty cool. So I think for our video, we'll make a similar Hello World, but it'll be like an access granted, like a Hollywood hacker scene. I think that was a pretty cool idea. Like it'll just be like, it'll just print out access granted. Pretty simple, but we can go through all the code and see how it works, how to do an animation. And just want to go through step by step, show you what everything does, and then we can compile it, we can run it, and bam. We made a cool hacker program, prints out access granted, and we learned some cool things. So here we have some header files that'll allow us to import these functions here. Printf, putchar, fflush. A lot of these are pretty basic. We do need them for all this, so go ahead and just import those. And here we have it's basically like a variable that the compiler has, and the compiler will have this already in its program that tells it, hey, we're gonna install this. We're running on Windows 32 or 64, and when we're compiling the program, we know that if we see this Win32 in the C programs, we'll do whatever's under it. So it essentially just tells the compiler, hey, we're running on Windows. And in this case we are, so it's gonna include these other two, and it's gonna define this function here. Now, if it was running on Linux or something else like Mac, it would include these. Now here, we have something called ANSI codes or ANSI encoded codes, and those are essentially codes. You can see here, this is the actual code on the right side. Now these codes tell the terminal on Windows, or also on Linux, like, hey, if you see this code in front of text, format the text. In this case, this one says format it to green. This one is to reset the formatting, and then this one is to make the text bold. So you see these kinds of codes that the terminal accepts, and you can modify the code, the output to green, bold, yellow, whatever you want. Now first let's go and see the actual main function here. This is the actual main function. This is what's running. So we have 4 different char constants, which are essentially array of characters, because in C we don't have strings. So this is what we're going to print out to the terminal. You can see an example down here, something like that. So we have the authenticating user output, some dots, access granted. So first thing this thing does, it uses printf to print this header variable. This is going to print just the dots. So it's actually just going to print these here. So it's going to check the length of the array of characters here. And then we're going to iterate through the length until we reach the length of the array character. We're going to for loop. Each time we're going to add 1 to I here. We start at 0. And we're basically going to print the index of the character array. So essentially it's just going to print a dot until the end of the string. Print. And then it's going to send it to the output as soon as possible. And then we're gonna delay, we're gonna sleep. So this is sleep us. If we go up here, we can see that this is actually another function we made. And all it's doing is using the sleep function and giving it the amount that we're gonna sleep for. So once we printed out the dots, we're gonna do another if check here. If it's on Windows, we're gonna print out the process ID. This is definitely coming from the Windows header file. There's a function you can use that's already been made, and you can print out the process ID with this, or else you'll use some other header file for Linux. Now as we go further down, we're gonna simply print out everything that we have. So in this case, printf. We're not gonna wait for anything, we're just gonna flush it out. We're gonna sleep a little bit, and then this is where the glitch happens, glitch animation. Essentially it'll be a little cool rotating, what do you call it, line. It'll be rotating. And it's gonna be rotating 100 times. Let's go see what this looks like. So static returns nothing. As you can see, it's returning nothing. Cycles and the delay between each cycle. So it's gonna do the same thing here, but what we're gonna output is one of these characters. Either the, I don't even know what to call that one, but the slashes or one of these outputs. Then we're gonna for loop through the cycles. So I think it was 100 here. We'll for loop through the 100 here. And then for each character in this character array, we're going to print it out, and then we're gonna flush it out to the screen. We're gonna sleep, and then we're gonna print out a backspace, and then we're gonna keep going through it. So it essentially just go like this. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4, and all you'll see is it'll look like a circle. So once we do the glitch effect, we'll sleep for a little bit, and then here we're gonna print out to the screen the ANSI codes that we wanted. So we'll print out those codes first so that we can edit the format of the next strings we want to put out. So we'll print them out, and then the message that we want to send will go out next, and then we'll reset the formatting. And then at the end, we'll just print out the underline. So the message is this. So this should be in green. You can see it down here. But essentially that's what it's doing. A bit complicated for, I would say, hello world, but the output, the effect, is pretty cool. Like, let's watch it. So also, if you don't know what a makefile is essentially like a script that will automate compiling the program for you. So this is really helpful when you have like hundreds of C files. Here, it's essentially just writing the actual command together. It's putting the command together, and then you can just, instead of writing this whole command, we can simply just call make. And then you can do make run if you want to build it and then run it. You can see that's the cycling there. It's running around. And then you have access granted. Look at that. Like in the Hollywood movies, right? We got access granted. We're in. So I know it was a lot. Maybe I was like, I was trying to go through each step, trying to teach like what the biggest things are, what the for loop is doing, what the global variables are, what the header is, what the compiling command looks like, what a makefile is. We covered a lot in one project. So that was the goal. Hope you like it though. See you next time.